And now, you're tuned into RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to your RBLR Rays show. I'm Ben. With me, pinch hitting today, filling in out of the bullpen. I guess you can't pinch hit and be out of the bullpen at the same time, but it's fine. We have our producer, Eureka. How's it going?
Good morning. Amazing. And what a time to be a Tampa Bay Rays fan. Ben, let's go. This is what we wanted. We've been saying it all offseason. Let's go.
Yeah, it's amazing. The Rays are going streaking, and so am I. I'm just wearing a shirt here. I do not have pants on because I don't need them. Even though we're on YouTube where you love to watch us. But yeah, Rays are going streaking. Best start in franchise history. They're 7-0, winning each game by at least 4 runs. That is the longest win streak with that kind of run differential since the 1884 St. Louis Maroons. They won 13 straight to open up the season, and they made the postseason, but they actually did not make it to the World Series. The Providence Grays swept the New York Metropolitans 3-0 in the 1884 World Series. So hopefully that means nothing to us. Yeah. It was Tungsten O'Doyle, Arm O'Doyle, or whatever was. I don't know. And then Bubblegum Phillips was pitching.
Well, did the guy get out of he got out of the mines, then got on a trolley, and then made it to the stadium? Is that how that guy started the game? Yeah.
And he smoked a whole pack of cigarettes while playing by the third inning while playing first base. So some
they don't make him like that anymore, Ben.
No, they really don't.
We're off to a great start here, guys. I do want to say thank you for listening. We wherever you're hearing this, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, but the full experience is on YouTube. You got to see everyone's faces. It's been a while since I've been on camera, and I just wanted to say, it's been a great time getting to see and hear and everything. It's been a nice little bump. So get the full experience on our YouTube, which we're just over 100 subscribers now and rising. So share. We need more people to experience like Ben and Zach and everyone that's killing it here. So do that.
Yeah, we've got some pretty cool guests lined up for everybody too in the near future. So you definitely want to stay on top of that. I don't want to give away anything.
Yeah. Suspense.
So I won't. Yeah. Anyways, the Rays, like we said, off to a great start to the year. They finished off a sweep of the Tigers, just beating up on a not very good Detroit team. And offense was clicking, defense was clicking. The pitching staff, though, was by far the highlight for me. They had the lowest FIP and ERA of any team in their opening series. And it wasn't just because the Tigers' offense isn't that great, because the Rays pitching staff as a whole actually had the highest pitching plus grade in the league too for that first series. So just because they were playing a bad team doesn't mean they were pitching well. They were pitching well because they were pitching the best. And we actually saw the Tigers. I think they won a series against Houston right after that. So it's the Rays. The Rays were just dominant in all facets of the game.
Yeah, it was good to see Shane come out. We'll get into Springs, obviously a standout performance. But I don't know what there was some little bit of chatter for the first game or two about striking out and some things, but I don't think it's talking about the Tiger series. I don't think anyone could be that upset that you swept a team. But the questions were just basically how far could we go? And we saw that. We'll get into that with the future games, but it's you can't ask for a better start. Shane looked great. Eflin looked great. Springs, I'm sure you're just chomping at the bit to fire about the Carolina Reaper. Here we go.
Yeah, it's an amazing nickname. Springs was fantastic. There's no other way to put it. I've got some more stuff on him later, and he's actually pitching today, so I'm really excited about that. There's nothing to say that hasn't been said about this team so far. It's just so dominant, and they took that dominance on the road with them to Washington D.C., where they dominated the Nats. There was one game where it was a little bit more contested, I'd say, but the offense still took care of business. They had a 149 WRC plus as a team in that series, which was the highest offensive output from whatever date the series started through the end of it. So best offense in the league when they needed it. And they, again, took care of business against a team that wasn't really that great, but you still have to win those games. all the wins if you can bank them early in the season, they still count just as much as a win in June or July. So really great stuff from the team, especially offensively against the Nats.
Yeah, anybody who says the level of competition is a factor, you play the guys that are on your schedule, and it isn't like the Orioles haven't beaten a highly powered team this year at all. So it's it's like we've brought it up before. You're going to win 50, you're going to lose 50 regardless. It's what do you do those other 62 games that dictate where your ceiling is. And so I'm okay with these not just being part of the 50 we're going to win no matter what. It's like setting the table of dominant performances. That's the best way I can distill it. Is they're doing it exactly the way you do it, and they're not winning by one run. They're not leaking out a ninth inning, oh my god, how did we beat the Nationals? It's like, no, they've always had one big inning. Like there's a 6-run inning, a 7-run inning, in all of these series, really. That's just, even the first game we saw against the Athletics, it's just they're doing it in dominant fashion, and they're doing it the way that a good team should be beating a team that you think is bad. But Neil Solondz makes a poignant point on a few of the broadcasts this year, where he's talking about right now even the bad teams don't know they're bad. You might be young, you might be full of potential, and right now you haven't lost the 50 games yet that you're in the middle of the season, and you're not going to make the playoffs. So then you start making weird decisions. Like, everyone's in it to win it right now, because you just don't know. You could go on a 7-game winning streak and put yourself in contention, even as a bottom seller team. So anyway, it looked good. And even against the Nationals, there was a little bit of a starting pitching performance. I'm trying to think, but really, it's just been it's been more. Yeah. There's the one knock is Josh Fleming. You're gonna have to talk me off the cliff about Josh Fleming. But it's just been encouraging, and now through 6 games at this point, it's just been good. So.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, we got the 50 you're going to win, the 50 you're going to lose no matter what. There was that middle game in the Nats series, though. That was one that they probably should have lost, but they went out and took that game. So that was
okay.
That's an important win. Like, that's +1 in that that 62 games where that could go either way. So yeah, I mean, when they had to do it, they did it, and they did it very efficiently, basically the entire series. The Rays had the highest UBR, which is base running efficiency. It's a Fangraph stat that doesn't factor in stolen bases. So in that series against the Nats, we're the best base running team. And through Thursday, because Fangraphs takes a very long, or not Fangraphs, Baseball Reference takes a very long time to update. Through Thursday, the Rays were tied for the fewest runners left on base, the 3rd fewest runners left in scoring position, 1st in runs scored percentage, which is like the percentage of time a runner scores when reaching base safely. And they had the 2nd most extra bases taken, which is how many, are you going an extra 90 feet when it's, possible for you to do so. They had the 2nd most extra bases taken in the league through Thursday. So they're very efficient on the bases. And even if and when the offense does cool down, because, you're not going to be a 160 WRC plus team a whole season, like that just doesn't happen. They're still going to have this base running efficiency. They're still going to have this run scoring efficiency, and the defense, like, those things don't go away. Like, just because the juice balls are probably going to go away, and teams will start to regress towards their averages. Everything looks really good, and right now in this hot streak, we're having a lot of fun.
Fun is the key word there. But
yeah.
So now, I guess the question for me is, like, where's the floor, right? Where is the floor? Because the rule, whether it's the rule changes, the way they've built this team in anticipation for the rule changes, the bigger bases, they were built for speed. They're built for defense. They're built for all these little things. And we've been begging and praying for 2 years about timely hitting, and now we're mashing taters all over the place. We're making extra base hits, and then the guys that are getting on base are making things happen. So it's an embarrassment of riches right now. My only analog is in basketball. I'm a Denver Nuggets fan. It's like having Nikola Jokic, but having like 5 Nikola Jokic's on the court at the same time. That's how it feels to watch Rays baseball right now. Is like everyone's good. Other than maybe again, you're gonna have to talk to me about Josh Fleming, but everyone's good or better than they've been in recent history, and it's like I'm just smiling. I don't know. I can't
Yeah,
be mad.
it's so much fun.
But where's the
It's
floor,
crazy.
right? That's my question. Is like we haven't seen that. We've seen one game of adversity that they had to come back from, and I think that's important. Zach made a very important point on Twitter about that. He said, hey, sometimes we want to see what they respond to a punch in the face, and
Yeah,
we got one punch in the face, and they somehow figured that one out. So I was okay.
yeah. I mean, we got like a little bit. I don't want to call it a punch. It was a very gentle slap yesterday when the Athletics took the lead.
Yeah.
But then the first pitch of the next inning, that lead was gone. So they don't really care who they're playing. They're going to continue to hit the ball well. And the Athletics kind of took the lead on a really bad call. Like that ball on the double that like led to the run was objectively foul. But I guess because Kevin Cash didn't hold up his right arm within the 15-second window that you have to tell the umpires, hey, we might want to challenge it. They wouldn't let him challenge it. So, I mean, I guess it's something you learn for the future, but terrible call, horrible rule to begin with. But Kevin Cash doesn't do the Aaron Boone thing where he starts crying and he gets himself ejected. Kevin Cash instead goes back to the dugout, rallies the team, and then they come out and hang up like 7 runs the next inning. So it's like that's a manager of the year. Like that's not Aaron Boone's a tiny baby. Kevin Cash is a grown man and a leader, and it's so much fun. I got to rip on the Yankees here.
You're making me think of t-shirt designs already, like
just Aaron Boone in a diaper.
Well, you might hear my kid crying in the background right now. I got my 2-year-olds. We're doing the breakfast routine, and sometimes it's noisier than other times. So if you hear him in the back, that's just Aaron Boone or my child crying in the background. So.
All right, that makes sense. But yeah, like we're talking about the A's here. Great win to start that series. Surprisingly, Randy, Wander, and Yandy went a combined 2 for 15 with a couple of strikeouts, and Brandon Lau sat because they're playing a lefty with pretty extreme splits. But the Rays still get it done. The supporting cast, I don't want to call the Sock like part of the supporting cast, but he is like second year in the team. I don't think he's fully part of the core. I think he's an established major leaguer, but
I agree.
He's going to be part of the core by midseason. Like I think we'll kind of lump him in with the Wanders and the Randy and the Yandy type players. So, but yeah, I mean we got Margot contributing. I think Siri's close to that core too, just because of his defensive ability. But he contributes. Harold contributes. Beth got a nice home run to deep center against his former team. Once again, everything is firing on all cylinders. I know the pitching wasn't as great, but like they scored their first run on a fluke double. They were kind of just hitting these soft little liners. It's fine. I'm not too worried about the pitching. Jason Adam looked a little weird, but he hasn't had to pitch in like a week, so it's fine. He's still got a couple of strikeouts, but yeah, I mean this team is awesome.
Well, I think having we know about Wander, we know about Randy, and now it's like if Isak can become solid at third base, then that opens up, Yandy at first, or Luke Raley, another guy that's coming out of the, that same kind of not second tier, but like, the not superstar guys.
Yeah.
They, Shaq comes to others or whatever, but like if you have Luke Raley and Isak Paredes just hammering the cover off the ball and they're at the corner, infield positions, it's meanwhile you're, Hall of Fame potential shortstop is mashing it too. It's like, okay, that's and then Siri for some reason has power for the first 6 games of this year. Like I don't know what this is great, man. Like, but having a Paredes, having these guys, Luke Raley, obviously we haven't really talked about him yet. That can play corner infield at a average, if not better than average rate. It's just another ridiculous part of this roster.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's 7 games, but like there really are no like noticeable holes yet. Like even when a lot of
Yeah,
these guys start to cool off and play like their normal selves, it's
yeah.
still like they're still like 26 guys deep on this roster. And even in the minors, there's so much depth where these guys can come up and fill in for a little bit as needed. And, there will be some guys in Durham that are going to force their way to the majors sooner rather than later with like Curtis Mead, Taj Bradley, Jonathan Aranda is going to be back up eventually. Bruhan's going to be back up eventually. Like they've got all the pieces they need. This is such a strong team top to bottom. So just really excited for the game today, obviously with Jeffrey Springs on the mound, but the rest of the season, like this is going to be awesome.
What's been surprising, I guess that would be my first question about that, is like, other than that it's all working, I think there's no way we expected that. I don't think there's any way that anyone could expect 7-0, but the way they're doing it, I think you and Zach have definitely been hitting the drum about like that this is potential, this can exist, this reality might not be likely, or we might not see all of it at the same time. That's been the most surprising thing for me. What about you? What have you, like, what's just blown your socks off through 7 games been?
Honestly, kind of Jose Siri's bat. Like we knew he's going to be the best defensive outfielder, probably the best defensive player in baseball, but
Okay.
he cut down on his chase rate by nearly 15%, and he's not really chasing. Like he's just swinging really hard at things in the zone. He's not making that much more contact. He's actually his contact rate is down 15% too, to a career low, but he's just hitting the mustard out of the ball. His home run to fly ball rate is double his career normal, and it's almost 3 times the league average this year. So that's going to come back down. He's not going to continue to hit this many home runs, but
Okay.
he's still hitting the ball really hard. And we kind of noticed that last year. Like he's got like a 95th percentile average exit velo on his barrels. I saw that like back in November, and I'm like, whoa, he's got some serious like untapped power. And now he's tapping into it. He's still going to strike out like 25-30% of the time, probably closer to 30%, honestly. So it's fine. It's whatever. But the pop at the bottom of the order, it's like a Mike Zunino type of bat, but playing premier defense at center field, which, playing really good defense at catcher and center field are super valuable. And a series like he's going to be like a 4 to 5 WAR player when the dust settles at the end of the year. Like I'm so excited about him. Again, he's probably going to cool off to some extent, but the power potential is real.
Well, we've talked about pitching and hitting, but bringing up Siri makes me think also about Taylor Walls and just kind of what the defense. People aren't going crazy yet on the defensive numbers, but I think have we already seen a leap in like outs above average, or some of the deeper lying defensive statistics that you would like to see?
Yeah, I'll pull up the baseball reference thing I saw the other day, but right now the outfield is kind of carrying the torch here for the defense. They
Okay.
are I believe tied for, yeah, they're tied for no, they're just by themselves in second place in outs above average, and they're tied for fifth in defensive runs saved. So the
Okay.
outfield is doing their thing, and that's honestly sustainable. Like even like after they cool off from their hot start, that's something that should stay. And I think if Harold gets a little bit less playing time in the outfield, that could probably help kind of overall with the team defense. So yeah, I mean the infield, I think they're going to come along, but yeah, I mean the Rays are above average in defensive efficiency according to Baseball Reference, so they're good right now as a team. I think they're 1, 2, 3,
What I
4,
think that's
5.
important to note is like, yeah, because I'm trying to. There's the narrative from like fake Rays fans, if not everyone who hates the Rays because they're going to be great, and it's yeah, but it's like it doesn't matter at the plate, on the bump, or with a glove. They are just absolutely doing maybe not sustainable things, but there's a very high ceiling and a very high floor right now. I think is what I'm trying to look at the numbers, but um, yeah, again, I don't know where, like, once the regression happens where it sits, but this has been a great defensive effort from the outfield for sure. And well, and even during the comeback of the A's, Taylor Walls made some hell of plays to kind of stop some rallies and turn some double plays and things like that to kill that momentum of a team that might have done some damage in the late innings against the bullpen. So.
Yeah, no, he was fantastic. Siri saved a couple runs, throwing a guy out at home and a nice catch in the gap too, like running that down. But the Rays are top 3 in like their pitching plus this year, so like that's going to continue. Like their ERA and FIP, like that could regress, whatever.
Explain pitching plus for someone who might
not. It's basically just like stuff grades, so like how like good the pitch itself is, and then like command grades too. So it's 100 is league average. So I'm just gonna pull up their thing real quick. So
you had a tweet where you had every pitcher is up at least 6 or 10 points over their stuff grade, their pitching plus grade from last year. So even Fleming, we haven't gone deep into Fleming, but like even Fleming is like 7% better than the average pitcher in terms of pitching plus.
Yeah, everybody's improving. Like it's awesome. And I just looked it up here. The Rays are tied for first in the league with the Yankees in pitching plus. So they're at 106, which is their pitching staff overall is 6% better than league average. So they're still going to be at 106 even when like they have a couple bad games and they give up some unlucky runs. So it's like they have the best like pitching results, but that's because they have the best like under the hood numbers too. Offense really similar. I think they're like third in expected weighted on base average. So when their actual weighted on base average like regresses, they're still going to be like a top 3, maybe top 5 offense. Defensive efficiency on Baseball Reference, they're still going to be top 10. Like if you have a top 10 defense, a top 2 pitching staff, and a top 5 offense, like that's going to put you in easily postseason contention and set up for a deep run. So yes, they're overperforming a little bit. Like they're not going to win all 162 games. Maybe they'll just win like 130, but they're set up to continue to win. Like, and if they go 500 the rest of the season, they're winning 89 games now. So it's like, that's probably enough for like, they could play 500 right now and probably be in the postseason as a wild card team. Like that's amazing. They're setting themselves up for success.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to get into next? Because I mean, all we've been doing for about 20 minutes now is just being like, everything's great. They're all amazing. What? Okay, so there's got to be some disappointment. Like, there's got to be something out there that you're like, maybe there's some guys getting performance, but he's lucky, or he's doing well, but he's been unlucky on the field. So what? There's got to be something. What's bursting the bubble at least a little bit?
I think the thing that's kind of that I'm a little down on is the sales at shop.rblrsports.com. I kind of expected our fans to be a little bit more supportive there, because you do get 10% off. So you can head on over to shop.rblrsports.com, use promo code FLAPPY for 10% off your order. That's FLAPPY. You got to get your numbers up, guys. Like this is, everything's great. We're having fun. We got a cool Nuke Reiki t-shirt. We got a cool Carolina Reaper shirt for Jeffrey Springs. He's awesome. Great nickname for him. We've got great stuff, and you're not taking advantage of this limited time offer that we have not been running for maybe a year now. So I think you want to jump on that and continue the momentum here. Buy a shirt. Maybe we'll go 8-0. Who knows?
Okay, all right. I wasn't setting you up for a shop ad, but I like that you threw that.
No, I didn't think you were, but I had to take that. So, no, I mean, I'm just not looking forward to like the inevitable game or two that they're gonna lose this month. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, there's
I'll
no
tell you
way
what
around
Twitter.
it.
Well, I'll tell you what Twitter wants. We should DFA Fleming right now, burn him, throw him to the sun. Why? No, why? But like I know that the underlying numbers say that he's fine. He's just got unlucky. But at the same time, he didn't get the results. And I mean, I guess it's just unlucky. But some people are only going to look at the counting stats. They're only going to look at that, and they're only going to say, well, there you go. You didn't do it. Does he have to just like keep doing what he's doing and it'll be fine, or do you think maybe there's pressure on him the next time he's on the bump in a couple days?
I think he really just has to throw his cutter a little bit more. I know
Okay.
he wasn't in great counts early on, and he kind of, when he's not in great counts, like he goes to his sinker and his changeup more because those are his most trusted pitches. So,
Okay.
um, the curveball thing he was doing where he's throwing it early, that was a great way to get ahead. But you got to throw like even if it's just a handful of cutters, like in on the righties to just keep him off, like keep him away from leaning out over the plate. He'll be fine. He's not an idiot. The Rays coaching staff isn't stupid. They know what they're doing. Um, I'm sure he's going to make the adjustments, and that's part of the reason why he made the team out of camp is because the adjustments he made from last season to this season and then throughout spring were so good. He was, out of him, Patino, Yanni, out of those three, like he was really the only one that actually made adjustments. Like Yanni's good. He's a good player. He's probably, one of the safer options in terms of like actually out of the three, Fleming, Yanni, and
Hmm.
Patino, he's probably the safest, but he's had the same 3-pitch mix since like 2016.
Have you gotten a
He's a
chance
good
to?
pitcher.
Have you seen any of their stuff in Durham through the last
No, Yanni got lit up.
5 different? Okay. Okay.
Yanni got lit up worse than Fleming. So the people that are like, "Oh, Yanni should have been pitching," like, are you sure? Because he got beat up even worse by a Triple A
Okay.
team. So, I
Yeah.
mean, the Nats aren't too far off from a Triple A team, but like Fleming was objectively better in terms of like stuff of the two, like on their like
Yeah.
all things considered. So
Yeah.
Fleming's gonna be fine. I'm not concerned about him. I'm really excited for his next start because like he has to make adjustments or he's not gonna be on the team. So like I'm really excited to
Mm.
see what he does. Um, yeah, I mean, thankfully the Rays coaches and their R&D guys, they don't look at the counting stats and I mean, they do, but they don't put a ton of reliance on them like the way fans do. So
Mm.
they're, much more measured and understanding and, they have actionable things, not just like throw more strikes. Like that doesn't mean anything to anybody. Like that's not advice. That's not coaching.
Hey, you should go out there and do better.
Yeah,
Thanks.
like, oh
Thanks,
yeah,
coach.
just pitch better. Like, yeah, all the Twitter coaches, but
Oh.
it's fine. Yeah, Fleming's gonna be fine. I'm just excited to see what he does next time out, which should be pretty soon, I think, in like 2 days against the Red Sox. And he's
Yep.
not too good historically against the Red Sox, given how right-handed heavy they always are. So that should be fun. It's gonna be at home at the Trop, so
No.
maybe you'll get better results.
All right. Well, who was your? I guess if everyone's been great, who was your? I guess bat of the week. Let's do that. Who's your hitter of the week?
Oh man, I was so excited for this. I haven't mentioned him yet, just
Yeah.
because I haven't really found a way to push this agenda. But Nuke Reiki,
Come on,
Luke
buddy.
Rayleigh,
Come on.
he's fantastic.
Yes.
Led the team with 3 home runs this past week. A 37.5% barrel rate is insane. Also led the team in OPS at 1448. His WRC plus 265 was second on the team behind Josh Lowe, of course. But Luke Rayleigh was just fantastic. Like he really kicked it
Yeah.
into another gear, especially in that Nats series. I know he didn't play yesterday, but that's because they had a lefty going for Oakland, and the splits there were pretty drastic. So I understand not putting any lefties in that starting lineup, and it worked out. It was a great lineup from Kevin Cash.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luke Rayleigh for sure, bat of the week, fantastic performance.
Yeah, I mean, let's if I'm taking away, I agree with you. Luke was the best, and I think if I get to throw any honorable mentions, because I mean, Wander has had a great
Yeah.
7 days. Jose Siri, we've already talked about him. His power has just been ridiculous right now. Yandy's hit a couple bombs. We already talked about the sock. So I guess like the other person that I would talk about that we haven't talked about is J-Lo, man. Josh,
Yeah.
Dude, he doesn't have as many home runs. He doesn't have as many RBIs, but he's not that far off. And even though he struck out like 3 times, when he's making contact, he's ripping it and he's getting on there. And so with a couple more counting stats, a couple more well-placed balls, and he'd be right up in that conversation with Luke and Wander and all these guys. So I think he's going to be my sentimental pick of bat of the week for that. What about arms though?
Yeah.
Out of all the arms, who was your arm?
Jeffrey Springs, like
Oh,
he
okay.
is the best pitcher in baseball right now. It's amazing, and I'm so excited for him to go today. He's the only pitcher in the league with at least 5 innings pitched and a negative FIP. He's at negative 0.27. Like that's just absurd. He's got half of a win already, so he's got .5 FWAR, and his 63.2% strikeout rate is the highest in the league among over 300 pitchers who have at least 5 innings pitched. So I mean, he's not going to strike out 63.2% of batters the rest of the way. He's not going to maintain a negative FIP all year, but he has been the best pitcher in baseball through the first 7 games, like without a doubt. Like if you think anybody else is better, you're wrong, and I'm sorry, but I'm actually not sorry. The Carolina Reaper, like what else do you want from him? He's amazing.
Dude, I was like, I couldn't tweet fast enough. I would tweet, "Hey, you got a strikeout," and then like, or it's like, and then by the time I'm hitting send, because because of the pitch clock, I guess it's too late. He's already got another one. Like what? I have nothing to add other than like beautiful performance. Yeah, obviously he can't sustain this, but if he's 60% of that the rest of the year, like we're whatever. I'm good on that.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
so
Rasmussen was good too, by the way.
Ras
Really
was good
strong.
too. I guess, Ras was up there. Shane, and then it's been a pretty good, like, Clevenger was all right in his. He's
Yeah,
had
he's been
3
nice.
appearances. Kevin Kelly hasn't been that bad in terms of
Yeah.
behind the scenes numbers. I think he's been doing great, and he's
Yeah, he's a
a
rookie
rookie.
too.
He's a rookie, so that's better than expected, and they haven't blown anything completely. Then when they've come in after 6 innings of a starter, they've come in and just been pretty serviceable. Not completely lights out yet, but steady as she goes with the bullpen. So,
Yeah.
with all that said, though, what about the now that you've got a full week of real games that have the pitch clock and have the rule changes and things like that? What have been some of the things that you've liked or disliked?
I feel like they could maybe give batters like 3 more seconds to get ready
Okay.
on the pitch clock. Like, I mean,
Okay.
I love the short games. It's amazing, but it feels like
Okay.
it's like we're kind of rushing just for the sake of rushing. Like
Okay.
I don't know exactly what the batters feel. I know the pitchers like the pitch clock, most of them.
Sure.
But I mean, I feel like they probably could have got more player input. I don't know. I mean, when they were testing in the minor leagues, they're obviously not going to get player input because they don't really care about the minor leaguers. Like they barely pay them a living wage as is. So
They're
it's
doing a little
understandable.
better
But
now, but yeah.
like you think they would ask the superstars of the game, like, hey, how many seconds do you think you would need to get ready? So
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe add like a couple seconds. They probably won't do it, but overall, I like this. I like the rule changes. I love the shift ban when it helps the Rays. I don't like it when it doesn't help the Rays. And base running stuff is fun. Like there's a lot more action on the bases, and it serves the
That's been
Rays
my
pretty
big
well
thing.
because they're
Yeah.
they're really fast as a team, so they benefit from that.
Yeah, I think watching the game of baseball is better when it's a little shorter, and then the stolen bases are exciting. I think fans want to see that. The shift ban, I think that was a thing that I think we're going too far with that. I think you should let teams innovate. You should let teams, wherever they want to stick their guys in a formation is up to them. Like that doesn't change the fact you have to hit the ball and get people on base. Like however the defense wants to play that, I don't think so. But I think I'll pay more attention to batting, I guess, now that you're bringing that up about if they're being rushed or if there's this period of adjustment that they're all going to have to make. Especially the WBC guys who didn't have to play with these rules like during that tournament. So that was one thing I was maybe earmarking is how did the WBC guys, who didn't really, I mean, they played spring training, they played something more important and intense than spring training games. But with them coming in and having to adjust a little bit to the pitch clock and things. But dude, getting a game over in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, Yeah,
amazing.
let's do it.
Can't beat it. Yeah.
Let's do it. So, I don't know. What do you want to talk about next? What's on the agenda?
I mean, we're pretty much it. Like, there's not really the minor leagues are in full swing now. Everybody's kind of getting started. Nothing new on the injury front. Still, Armstrong's progressing slowly. Glasnow still maybe like 4 or 5 weeks away.
Yeah.
Kittredge still not coming back till after the All-Star break. But I mean, no new injury news, which is great. Like, no new injuries. I know we had some listener stuff on Twitter. I don't know how much you want to just kind of like
Please.
rapid fire through some things.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
I even said I was
Do
going
you
to
have
take
it,
the
or
lead
I
on
can
that.
pull it up?
I'll pull
I
it
just
up real quick.
remembered it. So,
By the way,
I mean,
at Dog Pancake 73 is of course where Ben's at. You can see that if you're on YouTube, you can see that down at the bottom of the thing. But we always want to hear your questions, comments, concerns, social security numbers. Kind of blood type
Yep.
are you? We'd love to hear all that stuff. Also, we're at RBLRsports.com on Twitter. We're also at RBLR Rays, where there's just Rays content on that Twitter feed. So if you don't want to get the whole Rowdies, Lightning, the Bucks stuff that we do at RBLR Sports, because we cover everything, you can just follow RBLR Rays and just get the Rays stuff that you crave. But so however you want it, that's how we're serving it. Ben, I guess we'll just do this chronologically, because I don't think any of these were out of were important to do first. But so fun one. Fun Kanoki at Fun Kanoki asks, the USF Club Baseball has 3 games this weekend. So Ben, how do you think the Rays' recent success will translate to the USF games? By the way, they've won 2 of their last 35 games.
I think they should try to win more games, in my opinion.
I like this. If they pitch better and if they hit better,
pitch better, hit better, run the bases better, field better.
How are they looking though? You guys, how's the swag game going though? Like, maybe more eye black.
You got to do it like Wanderer's doing, with like the whatever he's drawing on his face every day, and
I think okay. So, all right, so we'll go with that.
Yeah, just have fun and play better.
You sort of answered this earlier. Seb Newell at Seb Newell asks, are there any under the hood numbers that indicate that series hot start might not be for real? It just seems like he's hitting the seams off the baseball.
Yeah, the contact rate, like the chase rate thing is great. I don't know if he'll keep that up, because that's not what he's done his whole career. Be nice if he can, keep it up to some extent, but the contact rate is really bad. Home run to fly ball rate is a huge outlier. Like, he's not going to keep this up. Surprisingly though, his weighted on base average and his expected weighted on base average there's no difference. Like, they're the same number, which is kind of cool. So he's actually just hot right now. He's not getting lucky, but he's not going to be hot for the next 155 games. Like, yeah, he's on like a 30 home run pace or something like that. I'm sorry. I wish it would happen, but the home run to fly ball rate and the contact rate are really telling. So,
well, kind of the next question kind of talks about the entire outfield, and that's from Matt Germain. Rays outfield is the most productive in Major League Baseball night, both offensively and defensively. So he asks, is it sustainable? And if so, to what point? How sustainable do you think this start from the outfield is?
Well, I mean, I touched on it with the outs above average earlier, but they're second in outs above average in the outfield defense, tied for fifth, in defensive run saved. That part is sustainable 100%, especially if Harold continues to get less playing time in the outfield. Yeah. But they have the second highest expected weighted on base average at 424, which 424 is not sustainable, but it's still the second highest in the league. So like, when, a rising tide lifts all ships or whatever, but so a tide going out is going to kind of sink all the ships when they deflate the juiced baseball that they're using right now, which is, it's kind of obvious, but it's fun. We're having fun. They're going to correct it and probably overcorrect it, and then they'll go back and forth and, juice it, deflate it, juice it, deflate it. But they're still the second best offensive outfield and one of the best defensive units. So the defense and the base running is sustainable. I think the offense, as long as it's like, top 10, they'll be fine. So not worried about that.
Well, I guess the last 2 questions are about the future. The first we'll talk about is from TJ's mind. if Curtis Mead continues to show that he's ready for the big leagues, how do the Rays make room for him? And another question is, would the Rays' successful start impact the thinking about how to use Curtis Mead and maybe even Taj Bradley?
Well, I mean, with any team, like you're going to, like if you're gonna tank, you might as well just throw a bunch of rookies out there and get them some experience. So the Rays aren't tanking, fortunately. Like that's not going to happen. But Curtis Mead's not off to a great start. He's got 100 WRC plus. I know he's been better as of late,
Yeah.
but he's not really playing well. Like he definitely needs more time in AAA. Like 100
Okay.
WRC plus is not good. So needs more time. I think maybe he'll get some time like later in the summer, just because he'll probably be ready by then. And there's going to be injuries. There are going to be, guys who can't do whatever. Like they have a kid or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
So he'll come up at some point this season. Taj is like 7th or 8th on the starting pitcher depth chart. He has not looked too great. Pretty bad in his first start. He rebounded a bit in his second one, but still like the off speed command has kind of been all over the place, and he hasn't really been looking like himself in terms of like the batted ball events that he's getting. Like he's getting a lot of line drives and ground balls when pop-ups and pop-ups are basically like his game, like pop-ups and pop flies, and he's kind of walking too many guys. So yeah, both are not ready yet. So when they're ready, they'll eventually get some time. I think both will play in the majors this year, but what the team is doing now doesn't really impact them too much because they still need time to develop.
Yeah, I think the way it's going to unfold is that all of these guys will not get an opportunity until one presents itself in the way of an injury, or like I think they put together the roster they liked, and then it's now bearing out amazing fruit. And even if it derails a little bit, that's still back down to a really good regression. So I don't think you'll see Taj or Mead or anyone else really, even if they're doing well in AAA. Like I don't think they will get a bump based on performance, because it's a logjam that's already there, unless someone just flat out stinks and they're really underperforming and all their metrics are showing that they're underperforming, which is unlikely. That's why they've put this team together. That's why we're so high on them, is like even the bench guys are like, all these guys are great. Even the platoon guys are should be performing really well on the long run. So I guess the last question is, what does Rene Pinto's future look like? Again, I don't think he comes up unless there is a severe need for it, but and maybe some rotation down the way. I mean, I don't know. You put a guy on the IL for 15 days for hurt feelings or something, just to kind of rotate him out and do something. But outside of that, well, what do you think? What do you think about Pinto?
Yeah, I think he could be like on pretty much any other major league roster at this point. Like he's really good defensively, and that's gonna give him a nice long career.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Mejia and Bethancourt, that's one of the best catching tandems in the league. Like neither of them are superstars, but they're both really solid players who are good defensively, strong arm. Pinto has a better pop time than both of them, and Beth and Mejia are both like top 10 in pop time already. So like defensively they're set, especially with the rule changes now. And I mean, they're both good framers. Bethancourt's a little bit better, but Pinto is again better framing than both of them. He's not going to play unless there's an injury. I think he'll come up when, rosters expand to like 28 or whatever, like later in the year, because having a third catcher late in the season when everybody's gassed is pretty nice and important to have. So he'll be up, but injury substitution, roster substitutions, like the only time he'd come up other than a roster expansion.
Yeah.
He's got a good future then.
I guess looking to the future, I mean, there is a couple more games against the A's, but I mean, are we already kind of looking at Boston and Toronto as the first like real test of this team? I mean, I guess if I'm going to give credence to that, the Tigers aren't very good. The Nationals, who knows if they're going to be, top level this year. Oakland, obviously low expectations, I think, for them too. But Boston, you guys said in the kind of a season preview that they're going to be at the kind of bottom of our division, but everyone plays really hard in this division, especially when the Rays and Red Sox. I mean, any of those games can go either way. So what are you looking for the most coming up against the 3-game series against the Red Sox, but also Toronto? I think we'll play at least one game against them by the next time we talk.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just enjoying it one pitch at a time. Like the players are so locked in to like one pitch at a time, one at bat, one game at a time. Like I'm not really like thinking about other teams as tests yet. Like you still have to go out and take care of business and be 1-0 each day that you play. So just having fun. I don't think the Red Sox offense is as good as people think. So I will say that they have the by far the lowest outs above average against. Like so as a batting team, opposing defenses have -11 outs above average. The next closest is the Rockies at -6. So like they're playing teams that are playing the Red Sox are fielding at the worst level in the entire league. So when they play, like, you know, the Rays aren't the best defensive team right now. They're really strong. But like when they come into the Trop and they play like a decent defensive team, like that offense is going to have no teeth. So I'm looking forward to that. But right now I'm just enjoying one game at a time.
That's very coach speak of you, buddy. You've been hanging out. You've been listening to too many Kevin Cash post games, buddy.
I've been teaching for too
long. I've been in the room.
Oh,
that's true. I've been in the room with Rowdy's head coach Neil Collins, and he's a master at that, of saying a lot by just saying like, you know, nothing. But I was like, oh, buddy, come on, man. Or being that like inside, he's like, hell yeah, I want to beat this coach, but he'll never say it. He'll be like, you know, we respect all of our opponents equally, and they're all great. I'm like, no, buddy, come on, you know. You know what I say, but a couple spicy things there about the Red Sox seeping through there. So we'll see. We'll see if they do have teeth or not. But I think that's everything on our agenda, Ben. Ben, thank you. I pitch hit.
This is great. This is awesome.
We actually tried this, and then we gave Zach the day off because his new mansion that he's moving into, they couldn't figure out the Wi-Fi. He's got gold plated everything, but like no Wi-Fi, bro. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
kidding me?
Yeah. He's got an indoor outhouse.
That was insanity, dude. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah.
He should have some of that wait staff that he's got on call there. Like, you know, help him out. So we're gonna have to get him an antenna on the radio, so and help him out, man, because the internet situation, he'll figure it out. But much love to you, Zach. We're just playing with you, buddy. Well, I guess I'll do one last begging for everybody, guys. If you've lasted this long, thank you. If you enjoy what Ben and Zach and all of us we try to do here at RBLR, like the best thing you can do is share it. Please. You could follow us on all social media at RBLR Sports. We've got our socials down at the bottom here. By all means, Ben is one of the best follows on Rays Twitter or baseball Twitter. If he won't say it, but I will.
Who you ask.
Yeah, he's amazing. Don't let the hundreds of people that he's muted tell you otherwise. But guys, please. Also, the YouTube has been our big launch for this season, and they've been killing it. We try to do our best every single day, every single week. Please consider liking and subscribing, but above all, share it. Let someone else know. Bring someone else to the party. We're building a community here, and only you can help us do that. So, well, Ben, that's all I got to say, man. I always enjoy being able to listen to these behind the board, and it's nice to get on the mic every once in a while. So you didn't make me feel like a dummy this week.
No, this was really fun. This is great. Good flow and everything. I like it.
Cool, man. Well, I'll give it. This is your show, man. You got the last word. Let's send us home.
All right. Jeffrey Springs is going to win the Cy Young. Continues his campaign today. Go Rays. That's all.
All right, guys. See ya. Get your Wi-Fi fixed, Zach.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.